The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, O Lord.
When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain. And after he had sat down, his disciples came to him. And he began to teach them, saying, Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they who mourn, for they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the land. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Blessed are the clean of heart, for they will see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And blessed are you when they insult you and persecute you and utter every kind of evil against you falsely because of me. Rejoice and be glad. Your reward will be great in heaven. Thus they persecuted the prophets who were before you. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
When we were vesting, Syria gave me the picture of Mary crying. Little did he know that's the stuff by Holland. At Last Lent, Mary said to the two children, Come near, my children, be not afraid. Children came and experienced the good news. The prophet Isaiah speaks of the holy city of Jerusalem, that mountain, fortress, that in time of war was a place of refuge, that in time of peace was a place of meeting God, and that in the time of eternity would be the place of a great banquet, constantly inviting people to come here. Father Jerry lived that out his whole life. Jerry said to us by his smile, by that little glint in his eye, by his open door, by his warm embrace, by the bowl of M&Ms in front of his desk, Come near, my children. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to be loved by me, to know of God's love for you. Be welcome. And Jerry, throughout his whole life, reached out to people and made them welcome. Claire last night spoke of a time where he welcomed the associates. I was talking to my dad last night, and at one stage, my dad was down in Foxwood and collapsed, and they took him to the hospital. And he needed a pacemaker put in. And Jerry went and visited my dad, took my mom into the rectory for the days that my dad was in Norwich Hospital, and welcomed him. And each and every one of us, I think, know of the time when Jerry welcomed us, when Jerry made us feel good, when Jerry fed us, when Jerry cared for us, and brought the love of God practically into our lives. In many ways, he was big enough of a mountain to be the New Jerusalem. That place where we could truly feel the comfort of the Lord. You know, we hear the Beatitudes, and I chose them specifically because they speak to us too of not only Jerry's life, but our calling life. Because that's what we need to experience. It's not just that we're praising Jerry, and making a saint out of him. In many ways, he was saintly and blessed. Yeah, he had a few moments, but we're not talking about those today. One of the things that Jerry did was, he was honestly poor in spirit. He put other people first. And as he did that, he made friends all over the place. Skip alluded to the fact that I preached at his 25th. And at his 25th, he invited 650 of his best friends. Jerry adds a whole new meaning to BFF. Best friend forever, because that's what he wants everybody to be. And that's what he wants to be for everybody he meets. That his love, his friendship, endures throughout our lives, and endures even now. And we all have those wonderful, proud memories of that simple person. Because to be poor in spirit, basically means he put other people first. He was meek. He inherited not only the land, but each and every one of us. He was a person who could mourn, who loved, who lost. We're here today because we know of Jerry's love. We still love him still, and he still loves us. And that's painful to see that love ended in a certain way. He's no longer with us here on earth, but his love endures forever. Blessed are the merciful. It's one of the things about Jerry was he was always forgiving. Always willing to let go. Always trying, as the rest of the Beatitudes speak of, to make peace. Maybe that was one of his faults at times, that he hesitated to make the hard decisions. That was because he didn't want to hurt anybody. He didn't want to take sides. He wanted to try to reconcile, to bring out the best in a situation, rather than to impose his will as a superior. And as a superior, so often, he was able to heal and mend and bring things to force. And blessed are those who are persecuted for the sake of righteousness. I don't know, this thing struck me as strange, but, in times of persecution, we're the ones who are persecuted. It's the folks who live out their faith. It's the people who are noticed. They leave the simple folks alone. They go after the big names. He'd be one of the ones who would be persecuted if there were ever a time of persecution around here. Thank God none of his classmates or friends ever persecuted him. Oh yeah, the community at times picked on him. But my favorite one was blessed with the clean and the pure of heart. Jerry had no God. Jerry had a wonderful sense of humor that if he's going to pick on somebody, it was himself. And just to share one of the simple memories. One time Jerry was invited to an anniversary party. And he thought he would bring a gift. And he wasn't sure what to bring, and he thought about it last minute. He looked around in his room and he found this wonderful cross pen and pencil set. And he gave it to this couple, to Bob and to Sue. And they looked at the cross pen and pencil set and said, "Gee, Jerry, this is wonderful. Thank you." They looked a little closer, and it was engraved. To Father Jerry. From Bob and Sue. Now, the only reason why I or anybody else knows that story is not because Bob and Sue told it, but because Jerry did. Jerry could laugh at himself. Jerry could share his embarrassments and go on. And that was a wonderful thing of how he ran the race. How he finished that race well. Over these last months, as he was dying and struggling, and at times making some progress, it was always to get back to Attleboro, to get back to the lights, to get back to work, to return as superior, at least to return to the local nursing home so that he could be here with his community. And even in death, when he finally came to realize, it's not going to happen, he let go because he knew there was a new finish line. A new finish line in heaven, which Jerry is now. Our prayers, our thoughts today are to know that Jerry is truly blessed because we have been blessed. He has shared his holiness with us. Jerry's challenge and call, I think, to each and every one of us, especially to those who are his classmates and friends and community members, are just take that shining example that he gave us and to make it real in our lives. If only I had half that openness and wonder that Jerry has. I don't think anybody has that here. But if we had just a part of that, how much richer our ministry, our life would be. Jerry lived his whole life in service of others. We thank him. And in turn, let us commit ourselves once again to serve in the way of the Lord, to follow the example of such a saintly man.